This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
Hey everybody, welcome to the WWE Podcast. It's Friday, actually, February 16th, 2024. We're going to get to part 2 of the emails in just a second. But first, I want to welcome new patrons to our community side here. And those new people are Seth, Michaela. I think I might have already given you a shout out, Michaela, but if I did, well, you got a second one. But Seth, thank you. And Zeppela. I appreciate you joining. I know that some of you have joined as free members, and hopefully that we convince you after you've joined for a week for free that maybe supporting us after the 7 days is worth it to you. But of course, everybody can join on that opportunity. 7 days for free. If you want to check us out ad-free for a week, that's available on Apple Podcasts, on the subscribe button there, or on a Patreon. So, all right, my voice, as you know, I barely held out yesterday. Today is not much better. I would hope that by Sunday, when I record the weekend review, things are much improved. But I mean, this is a doozy of a cold, so, or whatever this is. I don't know. I feel like, as you become a parent, I mean, you realize that you weren't that sick the rest of your life prior. I mean, when you get kids and they're in school, it's like they open up their own Wuhan lab in the middle of your house. It's crazy. All right, well. Let's get to our emails that remained from yesterday. Excuse me. And, of course, we do prioritize patrons. If you didn't know, that's a perk of becoming a patron. Let's get to, actually, AJ. AJ says, I know many want Roman to drop the belt to Cody, but what if, when The Rock is set to interfere in the Cody versus Roman match, Seth comes out, just having lost his belt the night before, to be an equalizer? Seth proceeds to neutralize The Rock and then proceeds to stomp Cody, leaving Roman to retain. Seth's reason for turning on Cody is due to the bloodline getting involved in his match, causing him to lose his belt. And then after all Seth has done for Cody leading up to WrestleMania, Cody being Cody's shield and all, the one time Cody should have come to Seth's aid, he doesn't. So, yes, I also got that email, AJ. I'm glad you sent it to both. Let me just double check. If it's the same email, then I won't. Yeah. So, AJ, I think that right now Seth's in a good spot, though, and WWE needs a top babyface on Raw, and Seth has done a nice job of filling that role. Do I think Seth is eventually going to turn heel again? Yes. I think Seth is much better suited as a heel, but he's done a very nice job as a babyface and done as good as you could imagine with the World Heavyweight Championship. But him coming in to interfere and screwing Seth or screwing Cody, I think they're going to try to separate these two storylines soon. Now, Rock and Roman may still have the tag team match with Cody and Seth. That seems to actually be where they're headed. But after that tag team match takes place, I hope that they both go their separate ways. And in a lot of ways, too, the World Heavyweight Championship story has been consumed by the story going on over on SmackDown because they're bringing Seth into it. And who faces Seth for the world title has really become a backstory. And it's weird given they spent so much time trying to convince us that that title is as or more valuable than the one Roman has. Yet at the same time, Seth's paying more attention to the championship Roman has than the one he has around his own waist. So I think that needs to change soon as well. But for the time being, I mean, sure, let's get this tag team match out of the way if it's going to happen with Rock and Roman. And it'll be fun. And apparently the latest is, and this is again, guys, around midday on a Friday rather, before SmackDown, that Rock is pushing for that tag team match. And that may be the Rock's night one venture, is Rock and Roman doing a tag team match, and night two being Roman versus Cody. There'll be a lot of angry people, though. No women main eventing WrestleMania. No one else gets that spot. It's Roman and Roman and Roman and Roman and Roman. But Yeah, so there are drawbacks, but thank you, AJ. All right, let's see here. Let's talk to a new supporter, Zep. All right, Zep, that's what it is. Not some. Zep is I like that name, Zep. So you're from Italy, and no, I'm not going to the live show. You're heartbroken, but the tickets went sold out in 10 minutes when you were at work. You're a huge Cody crybaby, even though you're into wrestling since 2004. My favorite wrestlers growing up were Edge, Christian, Batista, and John Cena. I don't bother naming Triple H in my top heroes because he was just too good. At the moment, Cody Bailey, my sweet angel. I loved her since the Four Horsewomen times. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, Rhea Ripley, and Becky Lynch are my top wrestlers. I love Cody because he is the picture-perfect superhero gimmick of our times. And I grew up without a person to look up to. You're 33 now, traumatized and still fighting. Cody, like John Cena at the time, gave me the strength to keep fighting and not letting go the hard work to get what you know you deserve. Sounds childish, but a man needs in his inner child to be happy at times. Cringy, yeah, going to therapy for that. I'd be happy if Rock versus Roman happened, actually, but I want Cody to end Roman's title run also. So both ways is good for me. People just need to chill the F up. It's just wrestling, and the death threats against Ava are way too much. Still hyped for Rock versus Roman, but can't wait for Cody versus Roman. Keep up the good work, and thank you for the hours of content you provide. Training with your voices to keep me company. Have a great, nice road to WrestleMania. Well, Zep from Italy. Oh man, my voice. I'm struggling too. First of all, a lot of different stuff in this email. A lot of real stuff, some storyline stuff. Let me start from the back and work my way forward. The death threats, as I've mentioned on this show, I mean, there's just no excuse for it. Absolutely none. I hope that these people, whoever they are somehow actually not just kicked off social media, but put in jail. I mean, charges, all of it. It's just awful. But apparently Ava Rock's daughter, has come back to social media. So that's a good thing. But as far as, I mean, you're always going to have trolls on social media who take it to the extreme to get attention, all that. It's awful. I agree. It is just wrestling, for God's sakes. Now, your other stuff, I mean, you have, you love Cody Rhodes. He's a superhero gimmick of your time. You grew up without a person to look up to. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to ask what your trauma was. I can take guesses, but I'd only be guesses. But I mean, it's of course, your personal business. But I guess the point I'm trying to get to is that wrestling, for a lot of us, even if you do have someone to look up to, and you're lucky enough to have that, if you have a father and a mother in your home, and you're able to look up to one or the other or both, you can still use wrestling as, really a support system in your life. And it becomes, wrestling is so unique, man. It becomes like a part of who you are. It becomes a part of your personality. You know what I mean? Like, you draw on the strength of these performers that is not real, but you use what you're watching as if it were. Even again, it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but obviously if you have trauma, real trauma that you've had in your life, using wrestling as a way to manifest strength, that's pretty cool. I mean, and that's the impact that I don't think sometimes the wrestlers themselves or WWE remember, that this kind of impact can happen with their product. It's not just all the fans complaining about creative. It's deeper than that for a lot of people. And that's pretty cool, But as far as your inner child, hey, we all need that. It's not childish. All right, we all have the inner child. It's always there, no matter what. So, I mean, that's something that I think all of us actually should embrace, is having an inner child, that we forget how to have fun as we get older. I'm 39. So, I mean, sometimes you forget because you get lost in work and family and issues and drama and money problems and everything else. And you just forget how to have fun. You forget how to have that innocent kind of childlike love for something. And it's not that you can ever completely recapture it, because once your innocence is gone, it's gone. You can't ever get it back. But how to have just how to enjoy your life, you know? All right, I'm not here to put anybody on my couch for therapy, but those are my 2 cents. And I'm glad that you're enjoying the Cody run. As you know, I'm not a big fan of it. And it's just, however, I agree that he's the right guy to do it. 100% Cody Rhodes is the right guy to defeat Roman Reigns. And I just don't know what they'll do. What will the fans do if Cody doesn't win at WrestleMania 40? What if it's a repeat of last year? I don't know. I don't think they'll have the guts to do it. And I think it would be actually damaging to the character, but hey, we'll see. Thanks, Sep, and thank you for joining. All right, let's get to our next email. And this is Omos, and he says, your match card predictions and winners. Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. The winner is Nia Jax by the Annihilator. Wow. Okay, so these are Elimination Chamber predictions. You're predicting that Nia Jax is going to win? Not impossible, but very unlikely, given that the momentum of Rhea Ripley, the support behind Rhea Ripley. However, Nia Jax has done an awesome job becoming relevant. So there's a case, but I don't think it's a strong one. Let's go, though. The men's chamber match, Bobby Lashley, Orton, Drew, Kevin Owens, LA Knight, and Nia Jax. So wait a minute. You're saying the winner is Nia Jax by the Annihilator from the top of the cage. Wherever it lands on, whoever, they will die. Well, actually, yeah, they probably would. I mean, that's not hyperbole. They probably would, yes. Okay. The women's chamber match, Becky, Bianca, Tiffany, Naomi, Liv, and Nia. Once again, Nia Jax wins by throwing Liv Morgan onto the floor and then squashing her. She will fall through the mat, and it will take 25 minutes to scoop her out. Wow. Nia Jax is going to have a hell of a night. Tag team titles, Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian versus Pete Dunne. I'm being facetious. And Tyler Bate versus Nia Jax. Okay, I see a pattern here now. It took me four matches to see it, but I think Nia Jax may win every match. So Nia Jax is going to win here with the leg drop from the top rope, crushing the head of Pete Dunne. Grayson Waller effect. It gets heated between Cody and Grayson. Then Nia Jax comes out and delivers a nasty headbutt to Seth. The referee comes out and makes it a match for the World Heavyweight Championship in the main event. And the main event is Seth Rollins versus Nia Jax. The winner is Nia Jax by the devastating senton from the third section in the WWE Universe. Thanks for reading the 100% true leaked match card. My name is pronounced almost like the wrestler. Okay. Or Omos. But here's the thing. You can't tell me it's pronounced like Omos the wrestler because they've pronounced it multiple ways. You need to give it to me phonetically. Is it Omos, like an A, even though it's spelled with an O? Or is it Omos, like almost? I don't know how else to ask. But yeah, this sounds very legit, I have to say. I mean, I don't know how you got a hold of this information. But whoever your source is, I would say continue to get your information from this person because it's unbelievably plausible. And I hope you're paying this person a healthy sum of money because I'm jealous. This is a hell of a connection you have, Omos. Hell of a connection. All right. Okay, let's get to Simone. And Simone says, I would have The Rock versus Roman versus Cody. For the title in the middle of the match, Cody gets rock bottomed and then gets speared 2 times. Cody then rolls out of the ring. The Rock and Roman in the middle of the ring. Roman with a Superman punch. The Rock catches him midair with the rock bottom into the people's elbow. He runs to the right and then the left and stops in his tracks as Ava is on the rope, or the apron, tells her to get the F out and slaps The Rock, a.k.a. her dad. Roman then spears The Rock 1, 2, 3. Cody gets back in too late. Roman gives Cody a third spear, and Ava joins the bloodline. Cody doesn't need to defeat Roman, as he's already made a made guy. I believe that Roman's defeat should be used to elevate a Braun Breaker. I would love if Roman gets beat by some rookie on debut because it's only a matter of time before WWE reuses the Brock Lesnar or Goldberg gimmick with a new rookie. And as far as Cody, he should win the Money in the Bank so it won't feel like his title run is shoved in our faces. Well, Simon, I'm no Cody Rhodes fan, but I have to defend Cody on this one. He's a made man in the sense that the fans are ready to embrace him as the man. And it can't really be shoved in our faces if he's been here 2 years and he hasn't won a major title. I mean, he has not achieved the goal that he set out on day one that he said he was going to do. The day after WrestleMania, 2 years ago, he said that his goal is to win the championship that his dad never did. That was 2 years ago. It's very difficult to shove something in our faces when it hasn't happened in 24 months. So I wouldn't say that it's shoved in our faces. The fans are the ones who have brought Cody Rhodes to this position, not WWE. The fans actually chose this one. It wasn't a Roman Reigns big dog shoved down our throats for many years, Vince McMahon special. That was shoving down our throats. This is the fans truly selecting somebody. I mean, look what they did. This isn't WWE who decided to put Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns one-on-one. The fans decided even after they presented an option of The Rock versus Roman. So I will defend Cody on that one. As far as Ava getting involved, I mean, I could see her doing that. But I also don't see the triple threat happening. They've already told us it's set in stone that Cody versus Roman is happening. If The Rock gets injected, the fan outrage will be just as severe as it was when The Rock versus Roman was supposed to be the replacement match. That would be a suicidal move by WWE. It would be really also undermining the goodwill of fans. Telling us for sure it's this and then changing it again. You can't. But Simon, I appreciate it. All right, let's go to Thomas. Tom from Vancouver says, "Good afternoon, WWE family. Wanted to start out with information on Doggo. On the Doggo topic, Cody's dog, named Pharaoh, a white Siberian Husky, travels with Cody a lot due to not wanting to keep at sitters or kennels. And he'll also be a manager card in 2K24. But today I wanted to get off the Cody subject and ask you a question. Do you think we'll have fully swept into the episodic era of WWE, only storyline progression week to week with no major changes or fights until PLEs? Seems like a small detail introducing the crowd every show. So much more video packages and just all around drama is so much more like Friends or Breaking Bad." I'm trying to figure out what you mean. So I don't, I mean, they're not in the business of trying to make this a sitcom or Breaking Bad, but they're episodic television, meaning they give you a chapter of the story every single week. So they're similar in that respect, but I'm not sure. I guess you'll have to clarify exactly what you mean, because I don't know what you're after. My overall answer is I don't think they're going to change what they're doing. They're going to continue moving forward with the formula they have. Also, I have to say Liv Morgan is horrible to watch. Cute, but so many weird, clunky spots. I would love for somebody like Tiffany to shine in that position, as I think she is hands down the best in-ring women's wrestler athlete I've seen. Thank you in advance for your opinions, Tom. Okay, Tom. Well, I will say, I don't think Liv Morgan is horrible. I don't think she's out of this world amazing. I think she's okay. She's certainly an attractive woman. That doesn't hurt. Her little outfits, it appeals to the male audience. Let's be real. But I don't think her body type lends the audience to believe she's ever going to be a true contender when it comes to being a face of the women's division or being a dominant champion. Not that you need to be a muscular freak like Jade Cargill or Bianca Belair, who are just unbelievably muscular in a way that is otherworldly. I mean, it's a compliment. I'm not trying to make it, they look like men. No, they don't. They look like females, but they have a lot more muscle mass than I would say some men do, which allows them to do some of the things they do. I have no issue, by the way, with how they look. So those of you that are about to jump down my throat because of whatever you think I'm saying, my point about Liv is she doesn't pose a threat when you look at her. She may be this little spitfire. That's cute. She's a little spitfire who screams a lot, and she's on this revenge tour that means nothing. She is clunky sometimes, yes. And Tiffany Stratton, I think, is a superior wrestler to Liv. I agree. I just think that Liv has, and I know a lot of you may not agree with this, I think Liv has found her ceiling. I don't even know the next time. I mean, think about it, guys. When is the next time Liv Morgan is going to be women's champion? The one time she did win it, she had to use the Money in the Bank to win it. And then have some luck along the way to beat Ronda Rousey twice. So, yeah, I mean, I think Liv has found her ceiling. And she, hey, if she proves everyone wrong, I hope she does. I'm on board for that. But I wouldn't say she's horrible. I would say she's okay. All right. Let's see here. I got a weird email. I don't know what that is. Let's go to Tim. Tim says, "Good morning and thank you for taking the time to read my email. Just wanted to comment in the Cody Roman versus Roman at Mania. What if, to help with the bloodline, instead of Seth being in his corner, he has multiple people in his corner to watch his back? Have like 2 or 3 people, maybe Austin, Seth, and someone else. Let Roman have the bloodline at ringside, if need be, along with Cody's team. I feel like Cody did something similar when he faced Nick Aldis for the NWA Championship. Even show Cody doing some training montages leading up to Mania. Have a wonderful weekend, or a good weekend, and keep up the good podcast." Thanks, Tim. This is exactly what I proposed, Tim. I wouldn't say they should be hanging out at ringside. I think a more dramatic way to present it would be that Cody says he has a few aces in his hole or in his pocket, that if the bloodline interfere, that he'll be, he'll play those cards, and we'll have to speculate who those people are. And as I've said, I think it is going to be John Cena and Stone Cold Steve Austin, if they do this, that are his quote aces in the hole, where they come out, and as the bloodline is doing what they did last year, it's going to be a repeat. Maybe even Cody gets the Samoan spike. That's how exactly I would play it, where we have Cole going, and this is disgusting. This is the same thing that happened last year. Samoan spike, Cody's down, Roman goes for the spear, or he's setting up for the spear. And, excuse me, as Roman is about to hit it, John Cena's music hits. John Cena comes down, tries to take out Solo and Jimmy, maybe does so, but then gets speared by Roman. Roman takes out Cena, and we still have maybe Solo left or Jimmy left, and then out comes Stone Cold Steve Austin to hit a stunner or two and really even the odds. I think you could do that. As I said, the danger is that you look like Cody needs a crutch to beat Roman Reigns, and that's not how you want to present Cody's first title victory, or especially ending the reign of Roman Reigns in a very questionable way. You want it to be definitive, and you want it to mean something. So I think that's how you could do it. I mean, or you could just have one of them. It doesn't have to be John and Austin. It could just be John or just Austin. So I think that's how you could do it. Thanks, Tim. Let's get to Sage. Sage says, "Hello there. First-time listener. For a few thoughts and observations. I hate the what chants. A lot of times they'll ruin good promos like Rock and Cody." I agree. As wrestling fans, can we all just make a pact and just stop the what chants? Can we please make a pact with one another? Not sold on Dakota Kai. Still think she may turn on Bayley, although I hope not. I think I presented my thoughts on this yesterday. I think she's going to turn on Bayley, and it'll be right after Bayley wins the belt. Number 3. I missed a couple of SmackDowns over the summer. One week Jimmy hates Roman, and the next he loves him. Did I miss an episode? No, you didn't, Sage. They just decided that Jimmy suddenly wants to be Roman's friend again. You didn't miss a thing. It was one of those things that WWE didn't care to explain why Jimmy really went back or why Roman accepted him back. So simply, it was a, yes, you did miss a thing. Okay. You love the Cody Crybabies. What I love even more is I don't think that's creative. I really think Rock calls them that off script. Yeah, possibly, which makes it even more fun. Or it could be one of the writers who came with it to him. I mean, who knows? The end result is it's still a pretty good catch line. It is, and it's going to make money, and Cody can try to spin it to own it, so Rock can't use it as some kind of insult. But it's still pretty funny. 5. Is it me, or is the Crossroads like the weakest finish? Why does Cody show up wearing a suit and then come out wearing a different suit every week? Okay, well, I'm going to really, really try. You guys are going to see my willpower here to not go on a Cody rant. I'm just going to answer the questions. Cody Rhodes, his Crossroads finish, it is pretty bad. I would put the big ending from Big E as the number one worst finish I've ever seen. And this is a close second. It's so weak. And not only does it look terrible, even in real time, but it doesn't even end a match. And Cody oftentimes will hit it multiple times without even trying to get a victory or go for the pin, almost as if he knows that it's going to take more than one. Well, then that should tell you something about your finish, pal. You know? As far as him changing suits, I mean, what? I've got nothing to say about his suits anymore, or his dogs, or his stupid smile. I've talked about that so many times. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm just going to leave it there. Number 6, who is most likely to turn heel next? Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, or Randy Orton? Great question. Great question. Wow. I don't know. You know, Sage, I'm going to put that question up to the listeners. Guys, putting this out to you. Who turns heel next? Sami, Seth, or Randy? If I was to guess, I would say Sami Zayn. He's on a losing streak. He doesn't seem to have an identity right now. He's frustrated, and that's sometimes when the babyfaces go to the dark side. Seth's on a roll as a babyface still as champion. You need that top babyface on Raw. Randy Orton got back just a couple months ago. You don't want to pour cold water on his return just yet. So I say Sami, but boy, you could really make a case for all of them. All right, next question. From John. John says, it seems like next week's Raw is almost like a mini PLE. Cody versus Drew is arguably the biggest match Cody's had since Brock, although I expect some sort of non-decision. You've got the Women's Battle Royal, where I've heard Jade Cargill is supposed to be in, and Jay versus Gunther is probably Gunther's biggest title defense in a year. Yeah, I mean, so as far as next week's goes, yeah, it's a big week. Jade Cargill, I don't know if she's supposed to be in it. I haven't gotten that confirmation, but I have heard there has been reports kind of consolidating on the idea that Jade Cargill's not now going to be in the Women's Elimination Chamber. And whether or not that's because she's not, quote unquote, ready by WWE standards to be in that position, or they just have better or alternate creative for her, I don't know. Maybe a combo of both. As far as Jay and Gunther, yeah, that's a massive match. Massive. But I don't see Gunther losing on Raw. I think it would be at a PLE. You would think, but who knows? I'm hoping Jay beats Gunther. I really think it's time to move on and progress both men's stories. And the only way to do this is for Jay to win. I can see the new Bloodline ordering Jimmy to go over to Raw and win the belt from his brother, setting up a title match at WrestleMania, Jimmy versus Jay. I have to say, I hope not. Am I the only one that doesn't want to see Jimmy versus Jay? And the reason is I'm all Bloodline Civil War'd out. I feel like I've seen it enough. I mean, but hey, more power to you if this happens. Also, do you think there's any chance Roman turns face before The Rock? What if Rock becomes what Roman is now, and all arrogant and bossy is head of the table, and tears into Roman if he loses to Cody? Kind of like Roman, what he did to the Usos last year. Rock makes Solo his right-hand man, and then Roman is like Jay and has had enough and turns on The Rock. John, okay. I also hope not. The reason is that Rock Roman, when it happens, needs to still be babyface Rock against heel Roman. I don't want to be in a position where WWE is trying to pretend that Roman beating The Rock is a better option. I don't want to be there. I still believe it should be a babyface Rock against heel Roman. That's my personal preference, and honestly, I think it's the better match, bigger match. It's the match that all of a sudden, up until 15 minutes ago, we all wanted. And I think it still could be done very successfully. The problem and the poison of that whole success being stopped from Rock and Roman was the title being involved. If you took the title out of that whole equation, the people would be going nuts for Rock Roman. It's the belt that screwed the whole thing up. And that's WWE's fault. Nobody else's. Thanks, John. All right, guys, my voice is hanging on by a thread here, but we'll see how much longer I can go. All right, we've got Dennis O'Brien. He says, "Hey, Matt, I hope you and the listeners are doing well. I have a little scenario to put your way, which may make sense or not, with the ongoing story between Drew and Sammy. With Drew costing Sammy matches and just being a bully, what if someone gets eliminated from the cage and Sammy runs in, attacks Drew, costing him the match, Sammy versus Drew at WrestleMania, and some sort of stipulation, either Hell in a Cell or Last Man Standing, and then you have Seth versus LA Knight at WrestleMania." Okay, a couple problems with this, and that is I don't think they want to turn LA Knight heel or Seth Rollins heel. I know you're thinking, well, they don't have to, but the fans will have to choose. And I don't think either one of them are on a path right now to make a strong case for them turning heel. Both have not seen the best days yet with them as baby faces. Plus, Seth Rollins seems to be on some kind of collision course with The Rock in a tag team match or otherwise. And again, LA Knight hasn't even touched the best days of his career. And as far as Sammy and Drew, I don't have a problem with this. It seems to logically be heading in that direction based on the story. But Drew is on another level right now. And no disrespect to Sammy, but Drew, in the pecking order of things and in the minds of fans, is kind of above Sammy right now. And I think Drew deserves a little bit higher of a profile match. I mean, I just do right now. So if Drew had stayed the same, I would have said yes. But Drew right now is a world title contender. I think he's the favorite to win the Chamber. So, but Drew, I mean, hey, Dennis, you could be right when it comes to Drew and Sammy. I'm against Rollins and Knight for WrestleMania. All right, let's go with Milan. And Milan says, "Hi, Matt. So I found Seth Rollins' Shield reference on Monday Night interesting. I also find it funny how Seth is warming up to Cody and all. Aren't these two supposed to hate each other? Seth told Cody right before Survivor Series, 'I don't like you, but agree with put their differences aside for one night for War Games.' Now all of a sudden he's acting buddy-buddy with him. I also feel like Seth feels a bit slighted that he's not getting the attention like Cody, and maybe there's a jealousy factor. Could Seth Rollins turn on Cody at WrestleMania and cost him the title? He's backstabbed him with the Shield before." I think it's possible. I think that Seth Rollins could turn heel, but again, as I've said throughout the show, Raw needs a top babyface, and Seth is filling that role very nicely. Also, we have Cody, who's kind of being a bit self-destructive when it comes to the attention. I mean, Seth Rollins is the one who continues to bring up Roman Reigns and tries to inject himself into, "Hey, I'll help you out." That's not Cody asking Seth to be a part of it. Seth is doing this all on his own. And if he's telling us that he has a more valuable title than Roman, what's he have be jealous about? He's already the champion. He's already the champion of the title that he believes is the most valuable. But with all that said, do I think Seth and Cody are eventually going to have a program? In the words of Stone Cold Steve Austin, oh, hell yeah. We've already seen them face one another 3 times. But I think we could easily have a 4th. I just don't think it's going to be any time in the next few months. All right, let's continue with your email. You said that I said last week that I think Triple H has his mind made up for a long time on when Roman is going to ultimately drop the belt, and it will be sometime after he passes Hogan. I think Triple H's original plan was a Punk, Cody, Seth 3-way at WrestleMania, and Rock would face Roman and retain. I don't think pivoting to Cody Roman just to please the fans is going to change Triple H's mind on who he wants to win the belt. Just curious on your thoughts. It's a good point to bring up. The fans changed WrestleMania. I believe that. I believe that. Right now my voice is cracking. But did they change the even larger plan of when Roman drops the belt? That's a hell of a good question. I still believe that Cody can't lose at WrestleMania, though. He just can't. I mean, for the sake of his character, even if it's in some wonky way with 40 people interfering, it's overbooked, something stupid. Samoan Spike again. I mean, big heel turn on Cody. Seth costs Cody the match. Dean Ambrose comes back. MJF hits his finish. I mean, like something insane, right? No matter what it is, I don't think Roman can come out of there as champion. I mean, however, we are going to find out how deeply convicted WWE is to Roman beating Hulk Hogan. And I have continued to say this, while we all assume that Roman Reigns is dropping the belt at 40, even doubly convinced, even more than last year, if Roman Reigns wins at WrestleMania, you can take it to the bank that he's making it to September as champion to beat Hogan's record. It will be the reason for Roman Reigns winning at WrestleMania will 100% be because they are trying to surpass Hulk Hogan's record. So we're going to see in short order, in just 7 weeks, how deeply convicted they are and how committed they are to beating Hulk Hogan's record. So that's a good question. The fans changed WrestleMania, but did they change the even larger plan? Good question. All right. Let's go to Nick. And Nick says, "Hey, WWE Podcast, wanted to share some of the fun we had at Monday Night Raw in Lexington last night. It was my wife's birthday, and she really wanted to see Rhea Ripley, so she did a full makeup look and dressed like goth. There were tons of other people, young and old, who were there to see Rhea Ripley, and even a couple of probably 5 or 6 year old girls who sat near us cheering 'We Want Mommy.' The match of the night was definitely Jay and New Day versus Imperium. I couldn't tell where the commercial break fell because they kept working over poor Kofi. The Gunther and Jay stare downs got all of us super hyped. Keeping it short, leave it there. Have a great week all, Nick." Okay. Thanks for sharing that. Always fun to hear from people attending live events. And seeing the support from Mommy, I'm telling you, young and old, she has captured a wide audience. This isn't a niche audience that she has grasped. And she's done it by being a heel, which tells you when they flip her and actually get behind the babyface Rhea Ripley, she's going to explode, which is why I continue to show evidence that I think when she faces Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, she'll have the majority of support, not all of it. I don't think Becky Lynch is going to get booed out of the building. I've said that. I just think that the majority of support will be behind Rhea Ripley, and I continue to believe that. But it's fun that your wife dressed like a goth. That's commitment right there, right? I mean, if you're going there in full makeup, that's commitment, and I love it. That's a wrestling fan right there. And it shows you that your wife is emotionally invested. It shows you that these 5 and 6 year old girls are invested. That's connection. That's the money right there. That's how you know people care about your character. So, thanks, Nick. All right. We're getting down here. We're getting closer and closer, I promise. Okay. Let's go to Aaron. Aaron G. He says, "Hey, Matt, touching on your thoughts on WrestleMania surprises, I would love to see Rock interfere in Cody versus Roman for the fans to think, oh, here we go again, only to hear the glass shatter, Austin cleans house, leading to a Cody victory. Would be reminiscent of Austin taking down the corporation, leading to Mankind's first title win, and the pop would be amazing. Love the podcast. You've helped me rekindle my love of wrestling after a 15-year hiatus." Thanks, Aaron. That's really cool that I could help you do that. I, if you've listened to the show in the last couple days, I have been on the bandwagon of this scenario of Austin interfering to level the playing field. The only thing I have that needs to be filled with a storyline is, why does Austin care? I mean, it's WrestleMania, it's Austin, but I mean, there has to be, for me, some kind of logical reason why Austin would give a damn about this story. I mean, if they don't provide me with it, Austin's a big enough star and he has enough support where I'd be like, this would be my one exception because he's so beloved. And it'd be fun as hell to watch Austin and Rock go face to face after all these years in the ring. But I also think that there does need to be, even loosely, a reason why Austin cares about this. So thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it. Guys, I apologize. I know I'm talking low. If I don't talk low, my voice will go. So, couple more. This is from Tim. Tim says, "Thank you for taking the time to read my email. First, I wanted to say this is my first listen every day during the week. I'm on the road all day in my van, so podcasts get me through. I just wanted to comment on the Rock and Roman and Cody stuff. My only issue with it was Rock and Roman don't need the belt. The head of the table is big enough. I've been saying this since before the last WrestleMania. I know I'm not alone. You've been saying that for a long time now. If they did it for the championship, it's predictable. I get people say the same thing about Roman and Cody, but it's not as 100% predictable as Rock and Roman for the title. I'm a huge fan and want Rock and Roman as well. It needs to happen sooner than later, or we're going to have another Sting Undertaker situation. With Mania being 2 nights, they can make it happen. They really do have an opportunity here to make this the biggest WrestleMania of all time. Let's enjoy this the next 2 months and see where it takes us. Tim. Thank you, Tim. Glad that I can help be a part of your day and be a part of your soundtrack for the day. So stay safe driving in your van. Now, I 100% agree. There's nothing you said here that I'm going to debate, because I've been beating this drum until the drum's broken at this point with Rock Roman not needing a belt. I've never been a fan of it. I don't want Rock as champion. Even though I want Rock Roman, I don't want Rock as champion. Even if The Rock sticks around, honestly, to me, it would be kind of, you know that it's going to be a short reign, and you did it all for what, and yeah, I mean, it could turn into a Sting Undertaker situation, although that was like a 20-year gap of, they had, they should have done it in, 2002, and they did it in 2022, or whatever disastrous year it was. I mean, so they did it 20 years too late, where in this case, they're still both within the realm of able to compete. Now, they don't have a long window to do this, but I'm still for WrestleMania 41. Hopefully nothing catastrophic happens with Rock's career or anybody getting injured or anything like that, right? So they're running an inherent risk of pushing it out a year, but it's a risk I think they're going to have to take to tell the story right and get the fans behind Rock with no title on the line. I think that's the way to do it, and the way that I think a lot of people would want it, because the title makes it predictable. That's one problem among others. And you're right. Cody and Roman for the title is predictable, but not as predictable. Cody Roman at least presents some kind of unpredictability of just WWE dare to have Cody Rhodes lose again. I mean, aren't you almost cynical enough to just have WWE and want them to do that to see how the fans would react? I almost want to see it. I mean, imagine they do the same finish. I would, that to me would be a much more interesting outcome, just to see how the fans would react. But thanks, Tim. Okay, one more. Wait, no, that's a garbage email. Garbage email. Okay. Hallelujah. Well, that means we get to voicemails if I can hold out here. Let's get to as many voicemails as we can. If we don't get to your voicemail, you know what the deal is. We'll get to you on Sunday night in the Week in Review. So here we go.
Going on, WWE Podcast World? This is none other than DJ Kuzmo back at it again on your Mailbag show, and this is a Wednesday morning. I'm doing things a little bit differently. I'm bringing down my energy level. If it's too high for you, I apologize, but please don't go to sleep on my voice message. Now, let's get to your favorite show to come in every single week on the Mailbag, and I'm talking about the Veer Mahan Report. Now, the Veer Mahan Report took place this past Monday night on Monday Night Raw, live from Lexington, Kentucky, home of the college basketball team, the men's college basketball team, the Kentucky Wildcats. And once again, as always, we have not seen an appearance of the Indus Shear for the upteen time as we're on the road to WrestleMania. But two things I want to mention about the tag team division. When it finally happens that Awesome Truth wins the Undisputed Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania, can we finally break these tag team belts and have a tag team belt on Raw and a tag team belt on SmackDown, so that we could put the end of the Vince McMahon, I guess you could say, tag team era to rest, and finally have some sort of tag team division on SmackDown? And of course, we have tag team champions with none other than Awesome Truth when they win it at WrestleMania for Monday Night Raw. The second thing, can we have also some storylines with the tag teams? It doesn't always have to revolve around the tag team championships. Look at this past Monday night. Where were the Creed brothers? Where was none other than the Alpha Academy? We need to see the tag team division start to build up with some storylines, with some interesting best-of-7 series matches, for crying out loud, and most importantly, can the Indus get some constant booking? Now, with that being said, and before I go on a continued rant about the tag team division, and of course, none other than the Indus, have a blessed week, be kind to one another. This is DJ Kuzmo. Stay warm, stay safe, and peace.
Well, DJ, I don't have a problem with your energy level, but if other people do, I don't know. Not everyone's going to like everything, right? But I have no issue with it. Now, that said, Idishir have been very inconsistent. I feel like I say that all the time. They're MIA again. And every time, here's the thing. The weird thing is every time they're on, every time Javier Mahan is on, or Sangha, or especially Jinder Mahal, they deliver. They have a presence. I like what they have to bring to the table, and they just don't seem to have a plan for them right now. And I feel like I said this after last year's WrestleMania. Oh, well, look out after WrestleMania, it'll be, put in the tag team division, and I feel like here we are again. and I feel like I'm saying the same thing. But your point about bringing the tag team belts to a split again, right? Like you want them from Raw and SmackDown, but you also at the same time want the tag team divisions to have a story and not be about the belts. Well, it's kind of a contrasting solution, though, isn't it? Because if the goal is to make rivalries between tag teams, like the Creed brothers who go MIA, like DIY who seems to be rolling right now, but everything is about the belts, creating another tag team belt for the other show, wouldn't that actually make it more about the belts? Because then the tag teams are competing for the belts if there's more than one of them. So, I mean, I feel like you got to pick one. I'm a big fan of just one because they have not shown consistently to me ever that the tag team divisions are a priority. You'll see here and there a little main event here and there, but it has never ever been a consistent priority for WWE because the money is in singles. I understand why they do it. So until they can show me that tag teams have personal rivalries, which, by the way, when's the last time that happened? Like a real deep, fun personal rivalry between tag teams with the men. I mean, don't even bother with the women. They're a whole nother problem and a worse problem. But yeah, the personal rivalries can be a big deal and fun, and even sometimes more fun than tag team belts being on the line. But until they can show us that they're capable of that on a consistent basis, I wouldn't split the tag team belts again. Because aren't you also taking the undisputed part of it away, which makes it inherently less valuable on top of it? So now you're going to have two belts, and you want the rivalries to not be about the belts, but now you've created another belt. So you're doubling the problem that you say you don't want. So, I mean, the tag team division has always been a mess. It's just how bad of a mess. It's like degrees of terribleness. And right now, I think they're in an okay terrible. They're not awful, but because the tag team divisions is starting to heat up, the wrestling is always going to be, really good. The Judgment Day obviously are the hot team right now. So, hey, I feel you, but I feel like you can't at this point. The way WWE treats those belts and treats the tag team division, you can't have both of those things. So, all right, let's continue.
Hey, this is the Waz. Calling back. I'm from the Indianapolis area. But I did call it. Unfortunately, you weren't able to get my voicemail loaded or whatever. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I understand sometimes things don't work out. But I did call it. I did say that Roman would actually have to pair up with The Rock, because The Rock would be on Roman's side, and it would end up being Roman versus Cody. And I do think in the process of doing that, I can see easily the same formula playing out for Roman. That Solo shows up, that Jimmy shows up, and they're going to do something, but The Rock stops it and says, no, we're not doing it this way. And then Cody wins, and then it's the Roman and The Rock for however long they want to carry it out. Maybe I'll wait until next year's WrestleMania, or maybe just to the SummerSlam or Survivor Series or something like that. It would be great to see a Survivor Series with a Roman team versus a Rock team. I don't know. We'll see. Other than that, I just want to say, obviously Dakota Kai is going to turn on Bayley, and I actually think she's annoying. She comes across as whiny, and so I'd like to see her get her teeth knocked out or whatever by Bayley. And I'd like Bayley to do a little more with her character. Right now she just kind of seems like I want to see more of the babyface side of her come out. So unfortunately we have to say go Cody because we want to see that title change, and I want to see Bayley win the women's championship or whatever it's called. So anyways, have a good one, guys. This is the Waz. Out.
Hey, Waz, good to hear from you. And yeah, I think you were one of the messages last week that when I downloaded it, it was just didn't work. Bayley, let me start in reverse. She does need, I don't know if identity is the word, but maybe it's the right word, a babyface identity, because we've seen the whole Bayley buddy thing, and obviously she's not going to revert back to that. It'd be like going back to childhood, right? It would be ridiculous. Imagine if she did that. It'd be so ridiculous. But she does need some kind of like foothold as a babyface. I don't know what that looks like. She's not in a bad spot. We all wanted this, so we're getting it, and that's good. So it's not a complaint she turned, but like you're right, she does feel kind of like, all right, you're a babyface now, so what are you going to show us? I'm not looking for pandering or smiling or bringing your dog to work day. I'm not looking for any of the Cody Rhodes stuff, right? But I am looking for something a little bit different with her character. Okay, you're a face. What does that look like? How, what's a little wrinkle you can add to your promo or to your, to your personality? Something. I agree. As far as Dakota Kai goes, yeah, there is a bit of whininess to her. I think you're right, though. She is going to turn on Bayley, maybe sooner than later. I hope it's not a scenario, though, where she turns on Bayley and costs her the belt at WrestleMania, because there's no need to keep the belt on Io Sky. None. I mean, nobody. I'm sorry. Io Sky's run has been, it's one of the most underwhelming runs in women's history. I mean, in the women's championship history. And it's sad because Io Sky is a hell of an athlete. They just didn't give her much of a personality. She was hidden in the damage control group. She was actually the one that people least talked about in the group that she's the champion of. So Io Sky's run has been very, very underwhelming. I think it would benefit the championship itself because, and this is, I feel awful saying this, but it's true. The championship is losing value around the waist of Io Sky. It's not a referendum on Io. It's the referendum on creative of how they've dealt with Io as champion. And that's the problem. But I think there's just no need to keep it on her. I don't want to see, Dakota Kai cost Bayley at WrestleMania. No, stop it. You know what I mean? But I do think that Io, or rather Dakota, is going to turn on Bayley at some point. I'm in lockstep with you there. But good to hear from you, Waz. Glad we can connect this week. All right, a couple more, and we'll close it out tonight.
Hey, it's Kyle for Baltimore. So I'm in the middle of your Raw review, but the whole Becky promo portion of it, I had a feeling you're going to have a feeling you're going to talk about that for sure. And I kind of agree that it wasn't Becky's best promo. Becky this year, in general, hasn't had a great year when it comes to have a great promo. So I think that's just behind her at this point. She's just, she already has a book coming out later on this year. She is a mother. She is established. She's done all she can do as, I guess, this version of the main character from 2018 till now. And the only big thing for Becky to do at this point is to face Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. And now will she get booed at WrestleMania? Probably so. I don't know. Probably so. But that's the biggest match for Becky to do and for Rhea both to do. Coming out of WrestleMania, I don't know what those. That's up to debate of what they have, or that debate is up in the air what they do with Becky Lynch after WrestleMania. But just as for me, I've been a fan of Becky since her time she came up to the main roster till now, and I'm still a fan of Becky. I will agree though that her character out because she's just been there for a very long time, and she's, like I said, accomplished a lot. And Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair both are the fresh new toys now in the women's division that they want to focus on. And I love Rhea Ripley. I love Bianca Belair as well. I'm a fan of both. And so maybe her time is not ending, but her time as that top star or as a champion is over with at this point. So that's my 2 cents on Becky at this point. I think it's just to the point where Becky said all she could do, and now it's just all about Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, which is fine, which is great, because like I said, I'm a fan of Bianca and Rhea both, and focus on every other person in the women's division to give them an opportunity. So that's just where it comes down to Becky at this point in her career. So, I think that's just the problem with Becky at this point. So that's a 2 cents of what I want to say about that, because I know Becky's never was coming to you at this point, and I somewhat get it, understand it. I guess she's a great wrestler, but when it comes to promos, it's like hit or miss. So that's what it comes down to Becky for me for that. Though I'm a big fan of her, I will agree that it's often one with Becky lately. So that's a 2 cents there, but they short call. Bye.
Kyle, you bring up a pretty good point here. I mean, it does reiterate my point. So it's not a self-serving compliment. It's really not, because the element that I haven't really dove into is about Becky is that you just brought up. She's a mom, very well established. She brings that up many, many times. And she said that she's done everything that there is to do. And it's like, okay, so like, why should I care about pushing you to the top anymore? As a fan, when you tell me you've done everything there is to do and it's great being a mom and all that, like, it's like, all right, so what is my support going to do for you or help you accomplish that you haven't already accomplished? It takes a little bit of the support out and steam out of the support for her, because it's not like fans supporting somebody that's the underdog anymore. Fans supporting someone that hasn't made it to the top yet, that you want to see get pushed and see what it looks like. Becky is admitting we've been there, done that. So it's like, all right, well, then why do you need us anymore? I think maybe that's the missing key, and in terms of why the support for Becky has waned, on top of her promos, as we've mentioned, which her promos, it's not just last week with her cheersing us and talking about having serious conversations and difficult conversations with a effing 3-year-old. Give me a break, which is a whole bunch of nonsense. But also the promos with her rhyming in NXT. If you've seen that over the last 4 or 5 months, that was horrific. Her promos in general have been annoying, and just boring. But I know I'm pissing off some of this Becky fans here. I know, Shahar, I know you're listening going, that's my girl. And she is. I know she's your girl and a lot of others. And I have the utmost respect for Becky Lynch. Okay. She has accomplished almost everything there is to do. And you can't ever take that away from her, but I'm talking about the right now. The right now, Becky Lynch it's like I'm watching a rerun every week, and she's trying different outfits and trying to cheers us with a alcoholic beverage or whatever she had and trying to be relatable. I appreciate that, but no, it's not clicking. You may love her. You may support her. You may not like my comments. It doesn't change reality. The fans, I think, are not going to be behind her in the way that they're behind Rhea Ripley. I mean, it's a feeling that you just as a wrestling fan, it's coming. The support for Rhea Ripley is superseding the support for Becky Lynch. When you put those together, especially when you put those two in a ring at WrestleMania, forget it. And if I eat my words, I eat my words. But to me, that's how I feel, and I've felt for a while. And Becky Lynch, what's the solution? I don't know. See, that's the thing. Someone is going to come to me and say, well, you're complaining about her all the time. Well, how does she fix it? I honestly don't know. I don't know what the solution is. Maybe it is turning her into a heel again, but a different kind of heel. Turning her hair black, changing her music, having her go a little goth maybe. I don't know. Something extreme maybe. Having her join a group. I really don't know. Maybe it is extreme. Maybe it's subtle. Maybe you stay the course and hope things just pan out and the fans get behind her again. But the fans have kind of moved on from Becky. They have helped make her a star. And now they see another big star in the making in Rhea. She's different. She looks different. She feels different. She talks different. And she's more physically imposing than a lot of the women. She's fun to get behind. The mommy thing's on fire. All of it right now is clicking with Rhea. And I feel like Becky Lynch is kind of like, we've been there, done that. I just feel like that's the sense of the fans. She's like a legacy star in her prime. It's weird. But at the same time, again, she's one of the greatest to ever do it. So, all right. Well, thanks, Kyle. Good point. And all you Becky supporters, I get it. I'm sure you don't like my words, but at some level, they're probably true when it comes to fan support, and that there's not that connection, that strong connection that used to exist with the fans. It's just not there. Now you may say, well, she's getting a positive reaction. She is, but there's an extra layer that's not there for Becky right now. That used to be there, has been missing for a while. So, all right. Thank you so much, Kyle. And what do we have? One or two more? Let's find out.
Hello, Matt. This is the gardener, Michael Gross, and I just wanted to say on behalf of everybody who's on the team of WrestleMagic, a very happy birthday to you. I also want to say a happy Valentine's Day to all of our couples. I love you, Jennifer, if you're listening. I doubt you are. And Rocky and Mrs. T, and of course, Memphis Mark and Melissa, all of our couples out there, Mr. and Mrs. Casual Wrestling Fan, all of you, happy Valentine's Day. I hope you have a great time and you celebrate it. Aside from that, the money left on the table, Nick Aldis is still not wrestling. Can we just talk about that? The guy needs to wrestle. He has years left. And if nobody's ever seen his matches with Cody in the NWA or his matches with Cody on some of the pre-AEW shows, please YouTube it, because probably one of the best wrestlers that's not going to wrestle at WrestleMania is playing a different role. Have a good day. Bye.
Mr. Gardner, it's been a long time, my friend. We should do a show together. It's been too long. And you know what? Memphis Mark, who, by the way, I don't know if a lot of people know, he's here. Memphis Mark is here because of a connection with Michael. So, hey, I do thank you so much, and for the birthday wishes and all that. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun with you guys, I got to say, and you guys add a lot to the show, and I know the fans are, listeners are very appreciative of it. But Nick Aldis, yeah, I mean, I saw some of his work. He's a good worker. He's a good worker, to say the very least. And you're right. If anybody hasn't seen those matches, I haven't seen all of them. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I have. But I've seen enough of it to analyze his work and go, yeah, he does. Looking at him now, he does have some years left. And at the same time, though, is it worth sacrificing a GM that is one of the most perfectly placed and cast GMs of all time? I mean, we already have a lot of wrestlers. WWE's roster is stacked. So is it worth sacrificing a guy that actually adds to the show because he's so good and done? He's so well done and well executed. Is it worth sacrificing that to put him in what? I mean, I'd like to know for what reason. You know what I mean? There's got to be a really good reason to take him out of that role and make him a wrestler again. Unless you're proposing he just wrestles a couple times, but he still stays GM. So, all right. Thanks, buddy. One more, because I am on the end of my voice hanging on. There have been so many cuts in this show. You guys, like, with the magic of editing, have no idea. I've been coughing and hacking like a animal throughout the show, but you wouldn't know it because I keep pausing. So, all right, let's get to the final voicemail.
Ask the French guy here, your curse. European champion. Wow, what a press conference that was last week. That's what I'm talking about. I wanted Roman Reigns versus The Rock. However, I can totally, and I was not expecting The Rock to side with Roman Reigns. I have to say that was a really, really clever move, making, in a way, everyone happy by involving The Rock in the Bloodline storyline and having Cody Rhodes finish his story. But guys, what do you expect? Do you expect Cody to win? No. I don't think he will win at WrestleMania, but that's another story. So what a week in wrestling. That was absolutely cinema. The press conference was cinema. I watched it live from France, so it was 2 a.m. in the morning in France. I did not regret any bit of it. But that's not the subject of today. I have to say to you, Matt, that's not the first time I don't agree with you on MJF. I really love the guy. That's one of my favorite superstars at the moment. I think he's super good at the promos. But I really think that's a mistake of him coming to WWE. I think he is MJF because of AEW, because he has this creative freedom, and also because he has the right to say, like, trash words, and also some, he has a freedom of speech in a way in AEW which you don't have in WWE. And I don't think that him coming to WWE is a good idea at the moment. I think he needs to build himself as quote-unquote undeniable. And that's it from me for this week. Bye, guys.
All right, Alex, thank you for contributing every week, and I appreciate it. So, The Rock, or rather MJF, let me just talk about that because I feel like I've talked about Cody, Roman, and Rock for 2 hours. MJF, whether people want to believe it or not, at some point in our lives is at WWE bound. He is WWE bound because it's meant to happen. What do I mean by that? Eventually, he's going to look around and go, you know what? I've made all the money I need to make here. I want to actually expand my career. I want to work with guys that I've never worked with before. I want to increase my star power. I want to increase my name brand value. How do I do that? Oh, I don't know. Go to a brand that actually has a foothold established for many decades all over the world. Some places don't even know what AEW is still, right? The ratings pan it out too. The ratings are up and down. The attendance is a lot of people have seen on social media, is up and down and great and not, right? So eventually MJF is going to stop caring about the dollars and start caring more about his own brand. And his own brand is going to expand, I think, in a bigger way in WWE. Right now, he's a big fish in a small pond. It's just a fact. And when he comes to WWE, he'll be a big fish in a big pond, I think. And sure, stay in AEW. Have him stay in AEW. I think he will for now, based on all the reports I'm hearing. And have him continue to just do what he does best. Run his mouth and be able to have really good matches, stay in shape, don't get in trouble outside of the company. That's it. And I think he'll do that, which will increase his own value, which will increase, of course, the price that WWE will eventually pay to get him. Whenever his next contract is up, I'm going to guess if he has a contract with AEW right now, it's another 3 or 4 years. At that point, I think he's going to say bye-bye and come to WWE. So we're looking at 2027, 2028, probably the next presidential cycle. But that said, though, the argument about, WWE doesn't allow freedom of speech, freedom of creative control is, I think, what you really meant. And you got to remember, the old man ain't there anymore. Mr. Paul Levesque is the guy in charge. Now, he's not going to just let MJF say whatever he wants, of course. I mean, within PG rules. But he can say, here's a perfect example. One of the best promos that MJF had, I just buried the lead, was against CM Punk a few years ago when CM Punk returned and MJF collided with him. And they met in the ring. It was one of the best promos that MJF cut, and he didn't have to, he said maybe, a couple of cuss words, but no one remembers the cuss words. They remember the content of the promo, how you delivered it. You don't need 4-letter words to make an effective promo. MJF does not need to say I can't say it on the show because we're PG, the F word, the S word, right? he doesn't need that. The flexibility of cussing that WWE currently has will work fine with what he needs to deliver and how he delivers his promos. So I'm not worried about that. But as far as creative control, I mean, we've seen it be allowed with a lot of stars that don't need a script. CM Punk currently has that with WWE. Doesn't need a script. We know that. MJF, same thing. And you know what? Guys that are currently in WWE can vouch for MJF, like Punk, like Cody Rhodes. So he has some connections here. So, I mean, I'm not worried about that, especially with Vince McMahon gone and all that. I think that will lend itself to really open up the creative, open up the promos to exactly what helps make MJF. It would make no sense for WWE to pay MJF a boatload of money to come to WWE, if he did, and then take away the one thing that really helped him make that money and really force WWE to pay him that much to come here in the first place, which is his mic work. Why would they take away the one thing that they paid for? You know what I mean? I mean, sure, his in-ring, I think, is undervalued. I don't think people pay attention to his in-ring because his mic work is just so superior to everyone else's. But you're paying for an insanely good promo, A+++ promo, and you're paying for, I think, A- work in ring, which is not a slight on his ring work. His promo work is just that good. But again, just to reiterate, and then I'll close it out here, they wouldn't pay MJF to come to WWE and then take away the one thing they paid for him to come to WWE for. So that's my thought. But all right. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to now take a few cough drops. I'm going to lay down and I'm going to ride out SmackDown, which just has started as I record this. It's 8 o'clock Eastern time. So hope y'all enjoy SmackDown. Obviously, we'll have our SmackDown review up tomorrow with Michael Ritter, who does an excellent job. And then Sunday, I'll be joined with a co-host, Amanda from the UK. Is going to join me on Sunday for the weekend review. So I know you guys enjoyed her. We'll be bringing her back on Sunday for her thoughts on everything going on. And until then, take care, guys. Thanks so much. I'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.